The standings after 4 rounds. Ben Grado of Arizona leader, David Bonucchi of Missouri in second, Matt Cooper third. Drew Livingston surprisingly struggling in 7th place. David Bonucci from Missouri currently sitting in 2nd place. He was 3rd in the 3 meters here, now competing for a title in the platform.
David in 2nd doing a low degree of difficulty dive at 3.0 in this round, but should not be a difficult dive for him to perform well at 3.5. Oh, another very nice entry. Bonucci has a real good feel for where vertical is, and he knows how to get his palms together as he goes into the water. And he sees the water. He uses this visual reference out in front of him very well, and he gets those palms together. Fabulous. Forward 3.5. Even with the low degree of difficulty, that's going to keep him in the top 3. No doubt.
The 8 to 9 range, 76.50. Excellent dive for Bonucci. Here's Matt Cooper, the senior from Texas. 3rd place. One of 2 Texas divers competing here on the platform.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. He will be in the Olympic trials this summer. But it's amazing that he is ahead at this point of Drew Livingston, who is known to be the ultimate consistent performer. And Drew was in 7th place, Matt Cooper in 3rd place. Big points for the Longhorns if he can stay in the top 3. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. Misses the entry just a little bit, slightly. That entry into the water. Pretty, you know, he just has such a great stretch. That toe point is lovely. But difficult to receive those 8s and above if you're not going in the water with a little bit less splash than that.
And they give Cooper 7s and 7.5s. Ben Grado, the leader from Arizona, here in the 5th round, platform final. Broke his wrist, was on the fast track for the Olympic gymnastics in 08, turned to diving, and he's been fantastic.
Yes, and Dr. Michelle Mitchell, she saw the potential in him, and we were talking about it earlier, and she said, you know, he's so afraid of the platform, but look how good he is. He uses all of his gymnastic skills, and what a nice young man. Oh, and that's the most difficult arm stand dive that's being done at 3.6 degree of difficulty, an arm stand back double with 2.5 twist. And those Arizona Wildcats really want to see the scores. And you're going to see the diver twisting. Ben twists a little bit as he goes in the water. So there's Michelle and new coach Omar Ojeda sitting next to Michelle.
75.60, a wide range 5.5 up to 8 on that dive.
But still winning by a wide margin. Not quite 20 points, but about 14.
Drew Livingston.
Oh, Drew comes back and does a wonderful inward 3.5 somersault. He's missed 2 dives in a row in round 3 and 4, and there's Matt Scoggin, but he does a really terrific inward 3.5, and he is perfect distance from the platform. He is not too close. Pretty entry going in the water, pretty.
5 9s and 9.5, 86.40. Great dive from Livingston to wrap up the 5th round. He moves up to 4th place.
Puts him right back in 4th. Amazing.
We'll be back with more diving on the platform final from Federal Way, Washington after this.
Diving is an invaluable tool that divers use to aid them as they somersault from the 10-meter platform. All divers benefit from learning how to spot, which is the same as using their visual references. Most divers use the water as a reference point because that is one of the constants in any diving pool. To demonstrate this, let's take a look at Ben Grado's 2nd round reverse 3.5 somersault. As Ben completes the first somersault, His eyes tracked the water in approximately the same place as he was looking prior to taking off from the platform. As he completes a second somersault, the same thing occurs. And once again, on the third and final somersault, he sees the water out in front of him and, yes, below him also, before kicking out from the dive and looking back for the water where he's going to enter it. Spotting allows divers to learn new dives safely, as well as with great confidence.
This is the platform final, sixth and final round, and this is the last dive for David Bonucchi, the MIzzouri sophomore, currently sitting in second place behind the leader, Ben Grado of Arizona.
And he needs a big dive to challenge Ben for this title, but he's been in this position before, and he can put the pressure on by hitting a great dive right here, and I would say at least 8.5. The 8.5 to 10 range is called excellent in terms of overall impression. Oh, that was a nice entry. He really hasn't missed many entries. In round 3 and 4, he missed the dives just slightly, but he's received a lot of 8.5s, and 9s. And I like this inward 3.5. I think he keeps a very steady dive in the last round. And there's Coach Sweeney cheering him on in the finals in every event. Just an all-around great springboard and platform diver. He will be in the Olympic trials this summer also.
In that 8 range, 5/8 on that dive for Bonucchi. Here's Matt Cooper trying to get points for Texas, sitting in third place here in the final round, the 6th round. Third on the platform at the Big 12 championships.
Now, the magic score is, at this point, is 456. That's David Bonucchi's score. So in order for Matt to go ahead, he needs 9s on this back 2.5 with 1.5 twist. No, I don't think so. I think the 8.5s, because everything was there, but the entries just aren't as clean as some of the divers that will receive 9s and above. I love the dive. I think it's fabulous. And the Texas Longhorn cheering squad liking it, and the dive was great. I just think with a little better entry.
They give him 1.9, 78.40 for Cooper. There's a look at the leader, David Bonucchi, the sophomore from MIzzouri, hoping his numbers are good enough as we look at Ben Grado for Arizona challenging the senior here in the 6th round.
Gymnast turned diver. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Maybe everybody will start going off the platform as fast as Ben Grado. And there's Michelle Mitchell, who was his original coach, hugging Omar Ojeda because they know that Ben has just won an Ncaa title. He never faltered, does the hardest twister that's being done as his last dive. And there's Michelle Mitchell, and she said, please don't get upset with me if I get emotional, Ben. Please don't get upset.
Drew Livingston's final dive here. 1 meter champ here.
And it's not possible for Drew to be one of the top 3. It is not possible. But he ends up with a very respectable last round dive, and that's that most difficult twister, the back 2.5 with 2.5 twists. And it just wasn't enough. He needed the scores in earlier rounds, and one of his best dives, but not enough for Drew.
He will end up in 4th place, though, for the Texas Longhorns. 8s, a 9 as well, 86.40 on that final dive for the senior from Texas. But the winner, Ben Grado, the gymnast turned diver, winning the platform here in Federal Way, Washington. Congratulations, NCAA championship to Grado and Arizona. The Arizona senior secures a platform championship with a big dive in the final round. David Bonucchi of Missouri second, Matt Cooper and Drew Livingston 3 and 4 for Texas. Here's Rowdy Gaines now with the Wildcat senior.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You don't waste any time. You do it very quickly. Is there a strategy behind that?
You know, for me, 10 meters pretty high, so the faster I get off, the better. The more I'm up there, the longer I think it's not as good. So.
And that's another thing I wanted to ask you. You have some fear to be up there. Why is that?
You know, it's so high, but once you do the dive, it's great. Once you get in and do it good, the adrenaline rush is amazing.
You didn't have a lot of time, but what was going through your mind that last dive?
I know that I had to hit it, and overall, I was just doing it for my team, doing it for me, and I put so much effort into it, so I want